Well, as we like to say here, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where we have the pleasure of speaking to you. My name is Scott Clausen with PPM Works. I'm our Director of Delivery, and today I'm going to be covering a topic I've been really excited to present: why project online organizations love OnePlan. But before we get into that, just a little bit about us and our upcoming webcast schedule. So the agenda for today, I'll just share not too many slides here, essentially just some background in Project Online, as well as top 10 OnePlan features not available in Project Online. So as we round into February, we have 4 different webcasts on kind of a weekly cadence there. Give you a chance to look over this schedule. Lots of information we're really excited to present on OnePlan and project and portfolio management. And if you haven't yet, we remind you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. URLs listed there. This recording will go up there, as well as all those that I showed on our upcoming schedule. So with that, hopefully you're coming into this webcast with some background on Project Online. Of course, there's been a lot of news for the last few years about maybe Project Online being retired. I won't get into that, whether it's 2027, 2030, who knows the date, but I will say one thing. One thing is certain: innovation in Project Online stopped in 2018 with their announcement to focus on Microsoft's announcement to focus on the new project service. So new project service is extremely helpful for lighter weight projects. Organizations we tend to work with, we refer to those as more enterprise project management organizations. And really, there isn't enough features in the project service yet, maybe in the years to come, for our customers to really receive the full capabilities they need for a project and portfolio management system. So keeping in mind that Project Online innovation stopped in about 2018, that platform still runs. We still have, in fact, new customers that join it, but we just really make clear to them that they're using a software platform that really stopped 5 years ago, right? So with that, out in the marketplace, we really were challenged to look for a more modern solution, and that's where we found, selected, and partnered with OnePlan. OnePlan is really a fully capable, again, the term I like to use is enterprise project portfolio management system. It's going to give you strategic portfolio management, different types of views, whether portfolio, Kanban, roadmap type views, full resource planning, full financial planning, work management, whether you're a waterfall or an agile organization, ease of integrating with other products, other software tools for project management, whether you're talking Microsoft Project, Planner, Asana, Jira, DevOps, you name it. Ease of integrating. The key is let's make it easy to get your project and portfolio management information into this system, roll it up so we can do our portfolio management functions. So coming from a Project Online environment, the great thing about OnePlan, it was created essentially from an organization that worked with customers like you in Project Online. So you're going to see here in just a moment, a lot of the features and functionality that may have frustrated you with Project Online have really been addressed in OnePlan. And it's honestly some of the features I'm most excited about. So what are my top 10? And I essentially listed these off in the series, maybe 20, 30 minutes. So these were the ones that came top of mind. I'm sure there's additional. Let's look at them. Number 1, built-in hierarchy. Ability to look at your portfolio, programs, and projects in a single view. Let's go over to OnePlan now. Here is what's called My Portfolio View. And if you're seeing this for the first time, you're going to notice this has a hierarchy. So yes, Project Online, you could do this somewhat with custom fields and things like that. But what's the beauty of OnePlan hierarchy, this simple hierarchy here doesn't have to be exactly this, but the one that we usually show by default is this portfolio program project. The beauty of it is that all your quantitative data is going to roll up. So if I'm talking my budget, see my budget numbers roll up here from my epics and my projects into my program, into my portfolio, my benefits, my end date's going to roll up, taking the maximum date. Even my percent complete over here on the far right is going to roll up. So automatic roll-ups, automatic structure of your portfolio, one of the key features, and most of these are things that our Project Online customers have been requesting for years. You know, there was workaround options, but not really a true hierarchy like we have here in OnePlan. Number 2, personal views. So as we go back to that portfolio, this would be maybe my standard view, but let's say I want to click here to insert some additional columns. I want to see maybe the number of active issues right next to my plan type, or as I scroll down here, I want to see maybe one of my comments like budget variance. I put that information in, I hit OK. Those columns have been added to my view. Of course, I could just move off this page, discard those changes, or coming over to the far right here, I can save this view as Scott's summary view. I click that it's a personal view. It's just for me. So something we never had in Project Online, the ability to do personal views. Next time I come to this, no matter how I have it set up, how I have it filtered, it's going to remember that for me. Great feature. Number 3, inline editing. I'm very sure to mention this in every demo. So looking at my projects here in the portfolio, I see this one has an incorrect business unit. Look at that. I just go to it, I change it. Next one down, same kind of thing. Who's the sponsor? Let's change that. Inline editing. In Project Online, excuse me, this was essentially about a 5-minute process to click into the project, check it out, update the data, publish it, check it in, come back to this view. So I like to say it's gone from 5 minutes to 5 seconds. Any update you need to make on one of your portfolio projects, of course, permissions are included in that. So whatever you have the ability to update, you can update. Inline editing. And as I was doing my inline editing, you might have noticed I updated something called a user field type. So having a field that has our actual user names in it. There's Alan, there's Deborah, there's Diego. Really commonly requested feature of Project Online. Again, there was workarounds, but there was no default field like this that actually had the name of individuals. And of course, in the background, this is going to be tied to their Entra account, which is going to have their corporate email, any other information on these users that you'd like to associate with any different field. Executive sponsor is just one. Next, we have choosing a schedule template after project creation. So the process to create projects in OnePlan is just essentially to go in your portfolio, indicate that you have a new project, go ahead and enter the project name. I'll go into this one here that I created earlier called Revo Device Launch. Now, here's going to be your project information as I navigate across the top here to what's called the work plan. This is going to be my schedule. Now, Project Online, if you'd like to have a template, you have to associate that before you even create the project type. Many times our customers would say, well, when we create a project, we don't know the schedule. Is it a low complexity, medium, high complexity? Is it for a rapid launch, a slow launch, you name it. Here you see in OnePlan, there is no schedule template yet. That's the second action. So I go into my schedule here. I go over here to insert template. Sorry, just let me save this once. Insert template. I could choose from organizational templates. I could choose from personal templates that I've saved. I can even go online and search for different templates available out there in the marketplace. Or even use AI to build my project template. Lots of options there. Let me just go back to organizational and choose this simple plan template. Notice as I'm inserting a template, this is kind of a bonus feature. I can use it after the selected task of my project, at the end of my project. So you can think of these templates actually not as a one-time exercise, but you can even create more what we call modular templates. So something you might insert multiple times in your project, particularly if you have those repeating items. So just really a lot more flexibility with templates, whereas Project Online, it gave you just, set the template based on the project type. That was it. All right, we have two features that came up here. Next is a grid view for top-down project financials. So I'm going to move from my work plan over to financials. So here you're going to see, let me just simplify this a little bit by removing some of my comparisons. You're going to see a screen here for forecast. So something we were able to do with, again, workarounds in Project Online, but just a simple grid that performs like Excel. You define your cost categories, things like, your operating expenses, your capital expenses. Those you just go ahead and enter like you would in Excel, 2,000, 4,000, etc. These costs can come from your labor or from your non-labor categories. A simple grid like this, and we would typically use these grids to enter things like forecast as well as benefits, which would be maybe revenue or cost savings that your project's going to achieve in terms of benefits. You can have full actuals to forecast comparison, etc. The idea is that we have these Excel-like grids here right built in to OnePlan to do our top-down financials. Project Online really required either a workaround or doing more bottom-up financials in the actual schedule, which is a lot more complex than most organizations really want to go into. Next, we have number 7, built-in Teams integration. Going back to my portfolio, you notice this Teams icon. As popular as Teams really is, so many times we were asked by Project Online customers, hey, why can't I just create a team for these projects? Not a standard functionality. Again, you could do with workarounds. In OnePlan, it's real simple. I click into my project like this one I was just in. I come up to this Teams icon. I click the button. It'll create a team. Let me show you what that looks like to one that was already created. This is my support customer using mobile project as associated team. Once we're in Teams, you see the first 2 tabs, if you will, posts and files. These are standard, highly important for projects. I'd like to say that, rather than emailing all this project communication, if you post it in Teams, halfway through your project, you have new team members join. They're able to come to this Teams post area and see all the previous communication. So it's not lost in email. It's available for anyone to join the project late to see the full history of communications. Same thing with files. Files in Teams are going to be a robust SharePoint-based document management system that's going to give you versioning, check-in, check-out, notification of changes, all those great document management features. Of course, you would have your notes area here integrated with OneNote to be able to do notes on your project status meetings. And then the last tab here, project, is where we get the true integration with OnePlan. This is essentially going to bring up my project just like I see in OnePlan. So I have the ability to update my details here, my financials like I just showed you. There's a resource plan, there's the schedule. In fact, many organizations that tend to use Teams, kind of Teams first, their users have been really happy with the ability to essentially do everything they need on their schedule that's stored in OnePlan right here in Teams, built in. Click of a button, you have your team, you're off and running. That gets us through number 7. We got 3 more. Built-in status reports. So let's actually go back to Teams for this. And this is my project for support customer using mobile. I'm going to come to reporting and go to status reports. Built-in feature for generating a project status report. So as a admin, you can drag and drop your different fields that go on here. Things like the project health. Is it at risk? Is it on track? Counts of issues and risks. Even sections for accomplishments. So I can come in here, put a bulleted list of completed. Sorry. Etc. What are my planned activities? What are my additional comments? When I finish this status report, I submit it. This could go to executive management for approval. You can also turn off approvals. And then what you're going to get here in your history of reporting is all your previous status reports. So if I go back a period here, notice that this one is locked because I completed it. I'm not able to modify it unless I recall it. And then when I've completed one of these, I can export it to PDF, Word, or email it. So a real helpful mechanism if you have been in Project Online, you happen to get into the status report area of that. It's nothing to do with project status reports. It's more of a team member to their manager status report. This is a true project status report, again, built into OnePlan, ease of configuring it, getting it working. And then as a bonus for this feature, going back to my portfolio here, OnePlan is able to generate certain views that show us a trend. So if I go to my trending view, it's going to use that data in the status reports. There it goes. So based on some of my KPIs or my financial data, it's going to show me those blocks of color statuses, as well as spark lines if I'm trending up or down on my counts, etc., all from my status report data. So this is a pretty advanced feature. Some of us would think of this as snapshotting. You get it all built in with the status reports, doing not only your status report, but your trend reporting. Okay, restoring versions of a Microsoft project schedule. If you were using Project Online long enough to use Project Server, you know that there was the ability once before we got to the cloud to restore versions of a project schedule. That disappeared once we went into Project Online. Only available options are really expensive third-party backup tools. This is going to be something, I know it's a little bit detailed, but commonly we have users that tell us, hey, something in my schedule got messed up. How can I just restore it? Well, first of all, showing you that in Project Online, in OnePlan, I go back to my summary view here. I notice that a few of these schedules, like New Gen Launch, has Project Professional. So if I were to click that button or have it open up here, it's going to open up my New Gen Launch schedule. So I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but of course, you have the option, instead of using the OnePlan-based web scheduler, you can use Microsoft Project still. Big, important feature that you really don't see in many other products out there. Even the new project service from Microsoft does not use Project Professional, Microsoft Project. So we definitely have many customers that still want to use Microsoft Project. So I've done my schedule here. I go ahead and update it, save it, etc. The actual method of storing that project file, of course, it's going to show up in OnePlan, but in the background, it's saving that project in a SharePoint list. So what that means is, if I come here and go to my version history, here are the last few times I've saved this project. So real easy to say, go ahead and let me view this, let me restore it. I have full backup capabilities of every version of my project schedule, something I do not have in Project Online. And rounding out our list, the last option, named baselines and more than 11. So back to OnePlan here. Let's go back into that support customer using mobile project. Here is the web version of the schedule. Even, again, you can use the web version or Microsoft Project. Coming to this menu here, I'd indicate that I'd like to save a baseline. Now notice that I have it named here. So it's not just baseline 1 through 11. We can actually put a name to that baseline, such as initial or end of phase 1, you name it. Looking at the configuration screen for this, you see the 2 that I have here, but you could keep going. Now, I don't know if there is a physical limit, but it's more than 11. You could do 20 or 30 different types of baselines. If you had a really complex baselining process, maybe you want to baseline every week, I'm not sure. But the idea is that you can name them to give them business context. You can also create a lot more than 11. Perfect. So I just want to thank you for your time and attention. Hopefully, those of you coming from Project Online, this will make you a lot more excited about what's available, modern features in OnePlan. We offer workshops if you want a free workshop to get started with not only OnePlan, but the Microsoft Power Platform for some extended functionality. Go ahead and connect with us here through LinkedIn. And if you want to reach out to us, of course, our emails are here. We have workshops, free trials, on-site or remote demos, or any other questions. Our contact information is here. I thank you very much for your time.